Hello everyone! Today our learning goal is to find the volume of a cone given its radius. The deal is the volume of a cone is 1/3 the size of a cylinder that has the same radius and height. So we know that a cylinder has a circle on the bottom, a circle on the top, and then they're connected. If the height and the radius in a cone and a cylinder are the same, then the cone is 1/3 the volume of the cylinder. Because of that, the formula for volume of a cone might look familiar. It's the formula for volume of a cylinder with 1/3 in front. So, we have volume equals 1/3 times pi times radius times radius times height. Pi times radius times radius times height is the formula for volume of a cylinder that we were doing last week. Now, because it's a cone, we just have 1/3 in front. We can abbreviate that as V equals 1/3 pi r squared h. Now, here's a really important point. If your calculator can do fractions, then by all means use this formula, 1/3 pi r squared height. If your calculator cannot do fractions, you are not allowed to turn 1/3 into 0.3 because 1/3 isn't 0.3. 1/3 is 0.3 repeating. It's 0.333333333 forever and ever. And if you just make it 0.3, you'll be getting the wrong answer. 0.3 is 3/10. It's not 1/3. So if your calculator cannot do fractions, you should use this formula instead. Volume equals pi r squared h divided by 3. Divided by 3 and 1/3 are really the same thing. So if your calculator can do fractions, you just put it all in your calculator here. If it can't, you multiply everything and then you divide that answer by 3. On the examples, I'm going to do this one using this way, the fraction way, and I'm going to do this one using this method where you divide by 3 at the end. On your homework, you can do either one. They'll both give you the right answer. Okay, so first one. We're trying to find the volume of this cone. This is the radius, that's r. This is the height, 12. Formula is volume equals 1/3 pi times the radius squared times the height. Radius squared really means you have radius 2 times. So this is really that the volume is 1/3. For pi, I'm going to use 3.14. Radius squared means I have the radius twice, so 5 times 5. And then times the height, which is 12. If your calculator can do fractions, you're just going to put this whole thing in. 1/3 times 3.14 times 5 times 5 times 12. If your calculator cannot do fractions, you're going to multiply this whole bit and then divide by 3. You're going to ignore the 1/3, multiply everything else together, and then divide by 3. But I'm going to do this as if my calculator could do fractions. So in my calculator, I'm just going to put in 1/3 times 3.14 times 5 times 5 times 12. And when I do that, I get 314. So the volume of the cone is 314. Okay, let's look at another example. So in this cone over on the right, this is my radius. Your radius is always in the circle. This is my height. Something to note about height. Height of a cone always goes through the middle of the cone and is perpendicular to either the radius or the diameter. So this is the height going through the middle, and it's perpendicular. Sometimes they also show height on the outside, like this, saying that's the height of the cone. Or you could show it like this, on this one over here. This is the height of the cone, it goes to here. It's 12. What you don't see is them writing it on this line, because this line is a slanted line, and that's something different called slant height or slanted height. Same thing here. They're not going to write the number on this slanted line here. That's a slanted height. or the slant height. Regular height just goes straight through the middle, or sometimes they note it on the edge. So in this problem, the radius is 6, the height is 8. I'm going to pretend that I'm using this formula because my calculator can't do fractions. So I'm going to do volume equals pi radius squared height all over 3. I'm going to plug things in. So volume equals 3.14. Radius squared would be 6 times 6. It's the radius twice. And then the height is 8. And then all over 3. So now I'm going to put this multiplication in my calculator and get an answer. And when I put that all in, I get 904.32. And it's still over 3. So that means I'm going to now take that and divide it by 3. This is what you're doing because you got rid of the 1/3, because your calculator couldn't do the fractions. So you do all your multiplication of these, and then you divide by 3. So I go ahead and do 904.32 divided by 3, and I get 301.44. So the volume here is 301.44. And that's how you find the volume of a cone if you know its radius. Have a good day.